Hello, YouTube. This is Willie Cartwright with From Saved to Sane, and I'm coming to you today with a new video. I'm starting a series about things in the Bible that don't make sense. Things in the Bible, stories, things that happen in the Bible that just are not logical or rational or make a lot of sense. And so today, the first installment, I want to start with the beginning, the Adam and Eve story. Many of you who are watching this are pretty familiar with the Adam and Eve story. God supposedly created Adam out of dust, and from Adam, he created Eve from one of Adam's ribs. And Adam and Eve was in the Garden of Eden, enjoying life, until a talking serpent convinced Eve to eat an apple or some fruit from the tree of knowledge. And prior to this, God had forbidden them being Adam and Eve, from eating from the tree of knowledge. But Eve, convinced by this talking serpent, went against God's rules and ate from the tree. And subsequently, she convinced Adam to do the same. After this occurred, God became angry and he threw Adam and Eve out of the garden. So now, the punishment for Adam for this transgression would be him and every man born to this world after him would have to toil or work in the land in order to provide, in order to eat, in order to live. Because prior to that, in the Garden of Eden, everything was provided. And Adam didn't have to do any type of work. The punishment for Eve, however, was to be inflicted with excruciating pain whenever she bore kids. Not just Eve, but every other woman that exists. So anytime a woman has a child and there's that immense pain that I can only imagine, because obviously I'm not a woman to experience it, but that is the punishment that God has put down on all of the women for what Eve supposedly done. Now let's stop there and let's examine that for just a quick second. Man's punishment is to have to work and toil the land, and a woman's punishment is to be in pain during childbirth. It doesn't seem really fair because nowadays women work as well, but men are not able to have kids, at least bear children in a normal, natural way. So that in itself would seem to be unfair. Also, let's look at it from a very simplistic and rational standpoint. If I'm in a position financially where I don't have to work to provide, let's say I inherited some money, won a lottery, became rich, whatever, I'm no longer being punished according to what was mandated by God as my punishment. But as a woman, that childbearing pain never leaves the female species. Never. Seems a little odd to me. Seems a little unfair, if you would say so. So let's talk about other issues that we may have, that I have with this story, this Adam and Eve story. So Adam was supposedly created from dust, and Eve created from Adam's rib, as I said before. And Adam and Eve were the first human beings on the face of the earth. And at that time, it was only Adam and Eve. And they had two sons, Cain and Abel. First off, there's a book called Before the Dawn. And in this book, as well as other documentations and other studies and other books, where, according to their studies, the earth has never had any less than a couple of thousand people. And I can't remember the specific number. I want to say 2,500 or maybe even 12,000. But there's never been less than, let's say, 2,500, according to this book and other things that I've read, people on the face of the earth. So essentially what that is saying is that there was never a Adam and Eve in the context of being only two people, the only two people on the face of the earth. Obviously, those of you who are familiar with the Adam and Eve story and the Cain and Abel story, One brother killed the other brother, and then the brother that survived went off and married someone, a woman. If Adam and Eve only had Cain and Abel, how was the surviving brother able to go off and marry someone? Where did that person come from? How was Adam and Eve able to replenish the earth if not for incest? Eve was the only woman. Just so many things wrong with that story. Let's look at another point. Eve came from Adam's rib. Eve apparently is the only human being to have ever been created. Everyone else was born. Well, let me take that back. Obviously, Adam was created, but Eve was created from Adam. But every other single living human being that has ever been birthed has been birthed through the birth canal of a woman. Every single person. But we're supposed to believe that Eve, for whatever reason, had to be created from Adam's rib. So to me, it sounds like a story that a man would come up with, a man would come up with. But that's just me. Let's look at another point. The talking serpent. Some people refer to it as a talking snake, but let's just use talking serpent. There's never been a documented time where there were talking animals, specifically not a talking serpent. Are you to have me to believe that this is the only point in our history where we had a talking animal outside of us as human beings, but a talking serpent? Why don't we see other talking serpents? Why are there any kind of talking serpents in any record book, recorded history books throughout the world? Again, something for us to think about. And with this story of Adam and Eve, because Adam and Eve did what they did, what we got from that, according to the Bible, is what's called the original sin. The original sin was the first sin that has led to us realizing our humanity and our flawedness. And based on the things that I was told as a Christian for 40 plus years, we all were born into sin. Think about that for a minute. We all are born into sin. I had a hard time accepting that as a Christian, and now that I'm no longer part of the faith, I totally reject that. So this God created us with the ability to become flawed, created the sin, and created the cure for the sin. The same God was all-knowing, all-powerful. So number one, whatever you want to call it, knew that Eve and Adam would sin, knew that they would be kicked out, and knew that consequently all of us, all of humanity, will suffer the consequences. Number two, why didn't this God just destroy the serpent or remove the temptation or only allow for Adam and Eve to suffer because they're the ones that committed the sin? And this whole concept of original sin has done a disservice for the African American community. A lot of us believe, because we're taught this, that no matter what we do, we'll never get it right. That no matter what we do, if we're going to accomplish anything, if we're going to have anything, it's going to be because of the mercy of this God. And then we have little to no control of the things that happen in our life because we're flawed, that we can't be fixed except through the mercy and grace of God. So you begin your life already with low expectations. You begin your life believing that you are less than, in some cases that you're even worthless. I do this because I want us as a community, as a collective community, to do a better job of thinking and using critical thinking skills when it comes to everything, but specifically when it comes to religion, because religion has such an impact, a large impact on our life and the things that we do and how we operate and how we move. But the one area of our life that we don't apply critical thinking to, or at least enough critical thinking, is in the area of religion. All of these stories, Adam and Eve, the great flood, Noah's Ark, Jonah in the belly of the whale, all of these stories are stories that if we just took the time and applied critical thinking to these stories, it'll lead us, most of us, in a different direction. Those of you out there that will say, well, those stories are metaphorical. Okay, I'm all right with that. But you got to ask yourself, if the Adam and Eve story is metaphorical, then what else in the Bible is metaphorical? What other stories are metaphorical or meant as an analogy or a parable? Because once you begin, that becomes a slippery slope. And if those stories are not real but metaphorical, then what about the story of Jesus and his resurrection? Because without the original sin, there is no need for a Jesus to come back. There is no need for a New Testament and all the things that have in the New Testament describing the life of Jesus, and specifically the resurrection and the death and resurrection of Jesus. There is no need for that if the Adam and Eve story is merely metaphorical, because there would be no original sin. And without no original sin, there is no need to have our souls redeemed or have someone to die for our sins. So I end this today by just saying, to those of you who are listening to this, I left Christianity because I decided to apply critical thinking to the things that I had been taught and the things that I had read in the Bible. And when I applied that critical thinking and analysis, I discovered that the Bible did not hold up very well against that critical thinking. It's a reason why they tell you, at least the way I was told, don't question the Bible, don't question God. You must have faith. If they didn't have something to hide, they wouldn't utter those phrases. So I said to all of you, please just start asking questions. Apply the critical thinking, analysis, like anything else that you get involved in. Do the same thing for your faith in your religion. See you next time. Willie Cartwright from Saved to Sane.